Okay, so today's episode is like a weird 5 minute quick cast because I don't want us to be limited by time. We have Jay invited here on the show. Jay has been making awesome progress, and that's what we want to talk about today. So, welcome, Jay.
Thanks. Happy to do this.
So, let's start because from my perspective, I guess, and it might be different for you, but there was like a turn of events that happened, and I guess I see this as you had twins, and then results started happening, which really to me was like the flip side. Usually it's like, oh shit, we have kids and now we don't have time for anything. So tell me a little more about like, is it actually what I've seen that happened?
Yeah, yeah, it is. So it was like it started really, I think, mid-August. We had just moved houses and we were purging our house. Kind of funny. And we were at the dump in Navan, and I was on the scale with the car, and I stepped off the scale and I saw the difference in terms of the vehicle weight, in terms of the
Okay.
kilos, and I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. So I went home that night and I actually weighed myself on my scale and was like, oh my God, I gotta like do something because I have twins on the way and they need a father
Right.
who's, healthy and able to keep up with them and not, suffering from a bunch of health issues in the not so distant future.
Right.
So that was sort of the initial linchpin, of course. And then, yeah, the boys came on September 2nd. Um, and after that point, I was lucky to have 5 weeks off work that
Yeah.
really allowed me to obviously, partake in being a parent, but also focus on my health. And, I have the support of partner who's really supporting me in achieving these goals. Obviously, she wants me to be around and wants me to be involved as well. So from there, it was just getting on the horse and working out regularly, dealing with a lot of initial soreness and that sort of stuff, getting back into it, but also major dietary changes.
Right.
Um, I can get into some of that if you want me to.
Yeah, so let's start with like from an exercise standpoint. What has been like being consistent for you? How many times a week are you coming to classes?
Yeah, so 5 to 6 times a week coming to classes. I'd say as I've gotten in better shape over, especially the last month or month and a half or so, it's closer to six.
Okay.
I think initially I started out probably like three, four, and then it was four, five, and then five,
Okay. So
six.
you build up to it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. The other thing I'm doing, I have the Peloton, so
Okay.
I did that 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Mainly zone two, like a lot of times it's part of my recovery. I'd say like you get the heart rate up, you get a good sweat going.
Lower intensity. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're pushing it pretty hard at CrossFit. So I try
Yeah.
and avoid, unless for whatever reason my schedule works out that way, like I try and avoid some of the higher intensity bike rides just because I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Yeah. And then specific to like exercise and having kids, like obviously life doesn't get easier. So you got busier, even though you had 5 weeks off of work. How did you manage to deal with like being tired, obviously, from maybe
Yeah.
sleepless nights to just getting the workouts in? How did you make it like a priority for yourself?
A lot of that. So I think initially it was a lot of just that external motivation that I talked about with my family to get me on my horse and going and doing it. Um, that was initially as I came back to work. That's really where I think the habits kicked in. So I was back at work early October, and at that point I had to switch my schedule. So I had to start going at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., now 5:30 a.m. And it's really just getting into a consistent routine. That's what I find. Just building good habits. So get up, go. That's just sort of what I do. Yeah,
And I
that
think like I don't know if that is for everyone, but like I'm a parent too, and for my own consistency, the like early AM has been
yeah,
the main point of like you will get consistent if you do it early in the morning. Otherwise, man, so many things can happen. Work can be longer, kids now need you
100%.
for dinner and whatever, right? So yeah, it seems to be like a common thing for parents.
Yeah, it has to be, and in part, like my boys go to bed at 7:30, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. But either way, like I'm working till 5, and then I'm commuting home, so I'm home by I don't know 5:36, depending on traffic.
Right.
And then like if I'm going to the gym at that time, I'm not seeing them in the day, right? So it's just not feasible.
Yeah.
So 5:30, 6:30, those are the only times that really do work for me. I mean, I can do the Peloton in the evenings, but like that's just secondary. That's not my
Right. Right.
primary what I'm doing, right? So
For you mentioned that you made substantial nutritional changes. How did
yeah.
you go about like figuring out what to do and what has changed in the big part of it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be honest, all along I've had a very good sense of like it's not that complicated, right? In terms of what you should eat and you shouldn't eat. And most people I think probably know what is good and what isn't good.
Right.
Um, but I learned more from listening to podcasts, to be honest, like a lot of podcasts about nutrition in terms of uh, more in the weeds on macronutrients, protein, managing carbs, managing fats. I do an all around diet, so I don't like do any like low carb or keto or
Right.
paleo or anything like that. I just do a balanced diet with a huge focus on protein. So I just like listen to podcasts, some of the more popular ones that a lot of our members are probably aware of,
Mhm.
to learn a bit more about nutrition and how yeah, a lot of the macronutrients, that sort of thing, impact the body. But by and large, like I knew, that generally eat whole foods, eat lean
Yeah.
meats, that sort of thing.
And for anyone listening that's also doing CrossFit style of training, like I think Jay just mentioned it, my experience has been that balanced style of eating is the best to give you results, but also supplement you enough to get your workouts in and not be drained. So it goes really well kind of together. Now, so right now, do you just track macros? Is that how
Yeah,
you stay kind of on track? Okay.
yeah. So I use an app. A lot of it like so. I'll kind of take a step back. So in terms of changing my habits, it was really again kind of the same way I jumped into working out consistently. It's just like building habits and being consistent. And I think tracking has really helped. So I use an app that I track. I have a calorie budget for a goal weight. Um, I honestly don't usually meet my budget just because of how much I'm exercising, but it's a
Right.
goal. More important to me though is tracking, and it's not even tracking like perfectly accurate. It's just tracking like to make sure I'm accountable to myself for what I put in my body.
Right.
More important to me is tracking the protein. That's been sort of a huge, especially when you're in a calorie deficit. I want to hit that protein so that I'm not, burning muscle or losing strength, which I haven't been. So I watch that. I watch the protein pretty closely. I watch fiber pretty closely, and then I try and keep my calories in like a pretty manageable range based on this app,
Right.
which it
Yeah.
seems to be working. If I hit a plateau at some point, I might change it up.
Mhm. Yeah,
But
that's where you readjust. And I always recommend people to track at some point in their lives, not to say like slap on the hand, you can't have that. It's more to
yeah,
see where you're at. And most people will realize that, oh, we're a little off balance here. We need to switch things up a little. It's more of a realization at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really important because even when you're tracking, you tend to underestimate the number of calories that you intake. So
Yeah.
you really have to like think about that, right? And it adds up so quickly. It's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so it's really helpful to just track it. And I think I've said this to you before. I'm not trying to be perfect. If I have like room in my calorie budget, like I'm not gonna hesitate to have a snack or something like that if I want it, or a
Right.
treat or whatever. Or it's just being alive to, yeah, your calorie intake and what you're putting in your body, your macros, that sort of thing.
Mhm, mhm. And so now, for people that may have not seen you lately or may have never seen you before, like, what's the, we're talking that you've had great results. Can you go over numbers? Because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. 49 pounds down
In how
as of
long?
this morning. Since so mid-August to maybe even the first week of September, I can't remember. I think I did weigh myself after the boys were born. So 3.5, 4 months tops.
Awesome. That's awesome. And moving forward, like what do you see as for yourself the biggest obstacle in keeping this up?
Um, I mean, consistency is always a challenge. You get thrown off your rocker. So the holidays, for example, right? Like I was traveling to Guelph last weekend. I couldn't get a workout in Saturday or Sunday. And a lot of times I found in the past that that's sort of where I'd maybe fall off the rails. You're eating, poorly, driving, and
Right.
you're on somebody else's diet, more or less,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
When you're over the holidays and traveling. So getting back on the horse, staying consistent, forgiving myself when you make mistakes. Like I saw the video that you posted about missing a workout, right? And it's just about like uh yeah, forgiving yourself and not like one thing I would do in the past was if I fell off the wagon, so to speak, if I had like a bad day, it was like, you throw the baby out with the bathwater and let it all go. And it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
like, moving on and
Yeah.
restarting.
And
Um,
I think that, like, for anyone who's a member at our gym, the difference when people ask like what is the difference between OCFIT and another gym is that if you find yourself being a little off track and a little, you don't know where to go back to it, we're there for that. Like, just we want people to take advantage of that. Send us a message, say like, hey, I don't know what to do, I'm a little off track, we'll meet with you and we'll figure it out together. So feel free to use that for any members listening. So any final notes that, like, if anyone is like, shit, I do want to follow kind of the same steps and I have questions or whatever, that where can they see you? Where can they reach you essentially?
yeah. So I have Facebook. I'm in the Facebook group for OC I have Instagram.
And your
You can shoot
six
me.
thirty, 5:30 a.m. class?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Usually, I think 5:30 now
Yeah.
because of work. I have to get going earlier. So 5:30, I do stick around for 6:30 when I can, just to get a little extra sleep. Um, and yeah, so you can find me there. I almost always do the Saturday class too, a partner workout. And yeah, just don't hesitate to shoot me a message. I can pass on resources. I can send my app. I can just have a conversation about what I've done and what's worked for me. And not everyone's going to be the same, but we can talk about you know how we can sort of achieve goals.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot, Jay.
No worries.
And
Happy to help.
catch you on the next one.
Sounds good.